Hey, so in this video, I'm going to quickly run you through how we were able to generate $54,700 deal within 90 days for one of the top PR firms in the US, right? The name of the firm is Ascendant Group Branding. And yeah, let me take you behind the screen. Let me show you the exact strategies we leveraged. I'm also going to show you the proof later on in the video, just so that you can see messages from the client and actual instantly dashboard analytics, so you can see how we're able to get a certain number of leads, how that turned into bookings, and then later on how that turned into actual revenue, right? A lot of agencies tend to focus on vanity metrics, number of leads that they can bring you. It's pointless, right? We focus on revenue, right? So let me take you behind the screen. So essentially, just to give you a bit of background for the company, right? They're a full service PR and branding agency targeting mid-market companies. Worked with some really big brands, strong service delivery, but they suffered from an inconsistent lead flow, relying a lot on referrals, right? So they obviously needed qualified meetings with decision makers, something that was a bit more predictable than what they had currently had set up, So what we did was we built a system rather than just saying, hey, we're going to bring you leads, we're going to bring you more meetings. It's what a lot of people sell these days, right? Whereas we don't sell that, we sell revenue. So we actually care about a number of revenue that's coming through from our campaigns, right? Because we can bring you a certain number of leads, a certain number of meetings. We can bring you 100 leads, we can bring you 100 meetings. But if none of those are turning into deals, it's pointless, right? Which is why we actually take revenue share on our partnerships. So moving on, we started off with 3 value verticals, right? So we started off with the 3 verticals that they had most experience in, they had best case studies in, right? And that happened to be manufacturing, sports management, and healthcare. So the first thing is obviously you got to be quite specific with who you're reaching out to. So you reach out to the right decision makers within each specific field. So as an example, in manufacturing, pain points are very different to sports management pain points, right? Which are very different to healthcare pain points. So it's crucial to be able to leverage each pain point and bring it up within that email that we're sending to them, right? And that's just an idea around the 3 different campaigns that we started off running for them, which were each industry specific, and leveraged their specific case studies for that, right? The next is their offer. So we worked with them, right? We gave them a bit of consultancy around their offer. So what performs for cold traffic. So you can see the offer was a guaranteed media placement in 90 days, right? With major media within 90 days, right? So creates that 90-day specific timeline, creates urgency, right? Guaranteed removes buyer hesitation. And then obviously tying a tangible outcome to that is also extremely important. So moving on is the multi-channel ecosystem. So going into 2026, cold email has become increasingly more difficult to actually get consistent results with, right? Which is why we've introduced a multi-channel approach, meaning that we are leveraging LinkedIn, we're leveraging cold email as well as warm calling. So what that looks like is someone that's in our client's ICP will get sent a cold email. They'll also simultaneously get reached out to on LinkedIn. So this multi-touch approach just allows people to create that extra relevancy and create trust. Essentially, at the end of the day, we're in a bit of a trust crisis, right? Meaning that we need to be able to reach these guys and they need to be able to see that this is a real person as much as possible, which is why on LinkedIn you have all your followers, you have your social proof, you have a face behind your name, right? On email, it's not as easy. You can't have links embedded in emails, so they can't see anything about you, right? Which is why we take that 2-lever approach. Now, on top of that, when someone responds with any interest, we are calling them immediately within 2 minutes. So they're getting responded to as well as getting a call from an SDR that manages your account, and they are calling that lead to get them booked in on your calendar, right? Which also creates that additional level of professionalism, right? So that is what really has led to the success, is because every piece of the puzzle needs to be so perfect. So yeah, I think I've pretty much gone over everything on this slide. Then the next campaigns that we ran were, we found prospects that were already interested in PR. So these are prospects, decision makers. We specifically targeted for decision makers that were following PR competitors. and thought leaders, essentially. So we filtered by senior level executives and targeted only active users engaging with PR content. Now, that campaign also ran really well because now you're essentially targeting people that already know about PR. So you aren't trying to sell them on PR initially. And yeah, then from there, it's really an easy sell there. It's more about case studies and why you are the right fit, what sort of results you can get them. And yeah, like it says there, shorter educational cycle, faster close. So that's why it just shortens the sales cycle massively. Right. Then I briefly touched on this. The speed to lead is everything, right? So full-time specialist signed, under 2-minute responses, media phone calls, right? Frictionless booking, meaning that they're getting booked in on your calendar directly. Right. So everything is managed. No leads fall through. Every lead is managed in a CRM. So all the systems are really set up quite thoroughly. Then, yeah, obviously the main metric is $54,700 closed within 90 days of us launching the campaigns. Email, LinkedIn, response times under 2 minutes, and then it's obviously outbound. So now a bit of proof in the pudding. This is the Instantly dashboard screenshot over the last 3 months, right? Bear in mind, this is also over the December period, so one of the slowest periods. We continued the campaigns and we still sent over 200,000 emails, got 52 opportunities, right? So qualified opportunities. And you can take a look at some of the metrics, and then obviously one of them closed. I believe there were a couple meetings involved in there. And then here you can see the WhatsApp chat between our client and myself, right? You can see here they closed the deal, $54,700. And then, yeah, why PR firms are a perfect fit for the system. So they're high ticket services, right? Deals are worth pursuing and they're worth putting dedicated outreach on. That's the whole basis of our offer, is that you stand to get a massive ROI, right? Even though we charge quite a healthy retainer as well as rev share, it still makes sense because it's PR, right? It's expensive. Expensive is obviously subjective, but you're able to get a good return on investment, essentially, right? So media placement is a tangible outcome. Clients understand, right? It's not like we're trying to sell them on anything new, right? And then obviously long client relationships. One deal closed leads to years of retained revenue, all right? And then most PR firms rely on referrals, which is obviously something that we found. And outbound is really a blue ocean for the PR industry. So that's sort of what we've been able to leverage. That's what we've done best. And yeah, if you sell basically any packages that are over, let's say, 3K a month, you stand to make a great ROI, especially if you retain clients for a substantial amount of time, right? So yeah, let's get in contact. If I mean, here's what we build. I'm jumping ahead here, but yeah, we'll basically do ICP and vertical research, offer development, multi-channel campaigns, behavioral targeting, dedicated SDRs, and a whole bunch more, which actually couldn't fit in the slide. I want to keep it as short as possible, but yeah, you can jump on a strategy call with me. I can run you through everything that we can do, and yeah, there's no pressure. But you do need to have a good offer in place as well as a high ticket service. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. Our retainer, yeah, essentially one client or 2 clients or 3 clients, if we manage to get you those clients, they're not going to be able to cover our fees, right? So it really only makes sense if you're charging higher ticket, which is why we're able to build out such in-depth systems. And then, yeah, this is where I was jumping ahead to. Jump on a strategy call with us. You can go to spectraacquisition.com and book a call, right? Jump on a call with me. I can run you through everything. There's no pressure, obviously. We can see if it makes sense. If it makes sense, great. If it doesn't, there's so many other partners out there that we have connections with that can do it for a lot cheaper, like pay per lead or all that stuff. But it's just we tend to focus on revenue, so we actually care about the full sales cycle, which is why it works so well. So yeah, get in contact if this is of any interest. Cheers, bye.